You've paid into Social Security your entire life. And now, not only will you be taxed federally on those benefits, but there's also some states that want a cut of your retirement benefits. The question is your state on the list? Or maybe is the state that you're considering moving to on the list? Today, we're going to unpack the states that do and do not tax retirement benefits from Social Security. Hello. If we haven't met before, I'm Planner Mike, a certified financial planner, professional, and owner of True Wealth Financial. This is a show that's dedicated to helping Christians retire with confidence and clarity so they can finish their race with purpose. Thank you so much for tuning in. Retirement, in a lot of ways, is about freedom. Hopefully, financial freedom, freedom of purpose, meaning you can do what you want, freedom of time, meaning you can do what you want when you want it, and freedom of relationships, meaning you can do what you want, when you want, with whom you want. And for a lot of people, they also have a freedom of location. In talking a lot of times with the retirees, the idea of moving in or after retirement comes up a lot. And it can be for a lot of different reasons. A big one for a lot of people is family. People retire and they want to move towards their kids or towards their grandchildren. Maybe some people want to move for better weather. Some people consider the idea of moving for a ministry or a church that they want to be a part of. Some people just want to move for a new beginning and just a fresh start. And so one of the things when you're considering the idea of moving is to do so in considering of state income taxes. Now, obviously, the federal ones are going to be the same no matter where you move. So that, might play an impact, but not as much. But states are going to vary a lot in some cases. So today I want to unpack the states of how they tax your Social Security retirement benefits. And obviously, we're not going to go through every state here, so I'm going to do it kind of in three broad groups to give you an understanding of which states are in kind of what category. And the reason why we're talking about this is because it could impact your plan quite a bit. Years ago, I had a client who moved from relatively a low state income tax to one that's higher. And they had a lot of desires to be near their grandchildren and their kids and to help them out and be part of their lives. But the state income tax difference was not insignificant. And so while we talked about it, they really didn't realize the impacts of that until we started taking money out of their IRAs. And we saw, hey, here's how much we have to take out for federal, and here's how much we have to take out for state. And the thing was, what kind of was a little upsetting to them was they earned the income in one state, in a lower state. So while they were deducting it, they were deducting at a lower rate. But the state income taxes, the distributions, that's what drives your tax bill, the state you live in when you take money out, not necessarily when you put money in. So obviously this shouldn't trump, the reason to move, but it should be something to consider having in your plan, right? So the idea is that as time goes on, you can have an impact as to what benefits are being taxed. But you want to make the main reason. So you never want to let the tax tail move the retirement dog. So again, we're going to unpack these in three collective buckets, not necessarily state by state. So bucket number one, these are the states that don't have an income tax at all, right? And you can see in this graphic here, we've highlighted them blue. Blue meaning best, at least in terms of state income taxes. So there are 9 states that don't have state income tax. Those are Alaska, Florida, Nevada, New Hampshire, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Wyoming, and Washington. So if you were to move from a state income tax perspective, those would be best. So the second group are states that have an income tax but exempt taxing Social Security benefits. So this is a large group, and they are highlighted on the screen here in orange. Orange meaning okay. There's 32 states that kind of fall in this category, and Washington, D.C. So those will be Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Delaware, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, Nebraska, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Virginia, and Wisconsin. Those 32 states plus the territory of Washington, D.C. essentially are in Group 2, meaning they have a state income tax, but they exempt Social Security benefits from being taxed. So those ones are all colored in orange. Those would be okay. The third group is the states that have a state income tax and they potentially tax retirement benefits. There are 9 of those, and we highlighted those in the map here in yellow. So those will be Colorado, Connecticut, Minnesota, Montana, New Mexico, Rhode Island, Utah, Vermont, and West Virginia. Now, a lot of the exemptions that take place in those 9 states, there are things where you still might not get taxed, but each state is different. So generally, holistically, it's driven by the age. So if someone gets Social Security benefits before 65 in some of those states, it's going to be taxed. Whereas if you take it more as a retiree in those states, you might not get taxed. It has to do with how much Social Security benefits you get, right? So how much your tax is driven by benefits. And your AGI, which for most of those states plays a large factor in. So in the article description here, you'll see a Kiplinger link that unpacks these 9 states and gives you more detail as to what's exempt, what's included, what's not, what the AGI thresholds are. That'll give you a better idea. But here we're trying to get the main groupings of them as you consider the idea of moving. As we conclude, if you're still with me, do me a favor, hit that like button and consider subscribing. It helps spread this information to others who might need it, and more importantly, you'll be notified of future episodes. Today, we talked about the states that tax Social Security retirement benefits, and we've grouped them into 3 groups. The blue states, where there's no income tax at all, those would be best, in my opinion, from a taxation perspective. The next ones are they have a state income tax, but Social Security is exempt. Those are in orange. Those would be okay. And then the third one is in yellow, where you would have a state income tax and potentially Social Security benefits are taxed. So you can see them here on this collective graphic. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to put them in the email below or send an email to mike@truehealth.com. But a good micro action for today might be if you live in one of those yellow states, or you think you might move one to one in the future, look at the specifics of how Social Security is taxed in those states. Again, there's a good Kiplinger article in the description below here that'll provide those details.